Why cards don't tend to crash to zero. Welcome to the Solemn YuGiOh channel where we discuss everything collecting and investing in Yu-Gi-Oh! So I sometimes see these comments, people going, oh, it's all going to zero, it's gonna go away, there's no way, all of this is fake, LOB Blue Eyes will be $50 any day now, and then I'll be buying it because I really want it, and then the true collectors, they will finally show up, all the speculators will all be gone at once, and all the cards will be free, and everything will be great. Now on the other hand, you also have people who think, oh no, if I buy a card for 2,000 and everything will crash to zero and my card will be worth $2, oh no. And again, that's also not very realistic. Now in an ideal world, maybe that does happen and then I buy everything. But that is the problem. There are people who do think that way. That is why today we talk about price memory. So the theory is essentially that, let's say a card sold for $5,000. I don't even want to name a specific one, you know, some cool PSA 10, first edition, whatever card you can name right now. And then it's sold again for $5,200. And then it's sold again for $4,900 and again for $5,100. So you have enough prices over a given period of time that show, okay, this is the established current price of this card. In people's minds, they know this card is currently worth that much. In their memory, that is the price of the card. Because of that price memory, let's say this card were to go down, and it can, you know, retraces happen, corrections happen, even crashes could happen. But if stuff goes down and that card that in everyone's minds was a $5,000 card were to suddenly be for sale for 1,000, people would buy it up instantly, just like that. In their mind, that is a $5,000 card that is now for sale for 1,000. It is very hard for that card to truly crash close to zero because too many people just know and agree. Just a while ago, that was a $5,000 card. That is a $5,000 card. Now that doesn't mean that all cards are insulated from ever going down real hard. You know, if you have been watching, once again, I like to use it as a good example because it's fresh in everyone's minds. PSA 9 base at Unlim Charizard, peak 7K, now it's only $900. Steep declines happen, but that was only possible because of the sheer amount of these things out there. And even then, that 7K price was only reached in a couple weeks. Its current price is still 4 times as much as it was at the beginning of the year. Even despite that massive population existing and that really putting downwards pressure on the price that we haven't ever seen before, despite that, it is not yet back at its earlier this year price. And that is truly like the best example of a ridiculously overinflated shit card. No offense, of course, it looks cool, but it's not actually rare. So if your card does have a sense of rarity to it, where you can't have thousands of people listing them at once and underbidding each other, if you can't have that, price memory is even more powerful. Let's say you are CEO Bobby Jr., because again, you're not really 40 yet, you're not at your maximum income yet, but you know, CEO Bobby Jr. is 31 already, which is already something, you already have quite some income, and you bought yourself a Cyberstein for $5,000, you got a steal. After that, the Cybersteins started selling for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. Do you think that CEO Bobby Jr. is gonna sell that Cyberstein if it ever crashed to 500? No. And everyone who owns that Stein and bought it for that 5,000 or whatever price after that isn't gonna sell at that price either. I would eat my Cyberstein before selling it for 500. People have seen certain cards sell reliably for insane prices. And so yes, we can see retraces, we can see corrections, we can even see crashes. Who knows? No one can predict the future, but it is very, very unlikely for there to be an event where these cards become truly paperweight garbage. The price memory will make it so certain people are very likely to just buy it up at, I don't even know, 50% off, 60% off. You can't really predict these things, and it depends on a lot of factors like organic demand, actual rarity, so you can't have this endless cycle of people selling under. A lot of factors are at play. But for it to see crashes to zero, like some people are hoping, it just doesn't happen. That's also why even on the modern cards that used to be extremely broken and powerful and worth loads of money because of that, even now, despite them no longer being quite as potent or even viable, they still fetch high prices. Now you could say, oh, but this is because those cards are iconic for the people that played with them during those broken eras. Let's take a Dark Arm Dragon, a Necro Face. And yes, that's true. And the rarity does come into play. But there are plenty of cards from that era that are just as rare and don't have those prices. Because over so many years, the price memory is still intact. Now that doesn't mean they'll hold, that doesn't mean they'll surge, that doesn't mean they'll crash, but you do see this general consistent trend. And so being aware of that is very crucial. Not only does it help you, be a bit more at ease when prices go down or when prices go up, but you can also use it to guide yourself through certain tumultuous times or great times. Because price memory also works the other way. It is very hard to convince someone that a card went up X amount when their memory clearly still tells them, no. So many years ago I bought it for only this, so if it's now worth more, no way, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. In my mind, that card is still worth $20, and so it's selling right now for $5,000. Fuck you, it's still 20. Price memory does work the other way. Luckily for people who do own the cards, the price memory working the other way doesn't really have power, because the people who are spending the money are clearly not working on that price memory. But it can drive certain forms of cynicism, and it can drive certain forms of anger. If someone sees a card that they really want to own again from back in their childhood, where they know in their childhood it was worth 20 and now it's worth 4,000, they can get very angry because they want to own that card but can't. So be aware of that. You do have to be cautious when talking about the cool cards you own, because some people's price memory may actually create a form of anger that you don't necessarily want to deal with. I'm sure we are all aware, like, damn, I used to own this card and now it's worth so much more and I don't have it. Damn, I wish I hadn't thrown it away, or I wish I hadn't traded it. I'm sure we all know that stuff. In some people, that anger is even more powerful, but that might be better for another video. That is all. Hope you found this interesting. Like, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.